It's a Friday night, sometime in the late 90s. The minivan turns into the strip mall, headlights sweeping across the storefronts, and there it is. That blue and yellow glow, brighter than anything else on the block. A torn yellow ticket the size of a billboard, humming against the dark. You've seen it 1,000 times. You don't even register it anymore. It's just there, the way the moon is there. Inside, the doors slide open and the whole place hits you at once. The fluorescent hum, the squeak of carpet under your sneakers. Rows of plastic cases standing at attention, spines out, alphabetized, waiting. Somewhere a kid is begging for candy the size of his head. Somewhere a couple is parked in front of the new releases, quietly negotiating, comedy or horror, something we'll both like. And up at the counter, a teenager in a blue polo drags a little plastic scanner across a barcode, and the machine goes beep. This was the ritual, not the movie, the going. And nobody in that store, not the kid, not the couple, not the teenager behind the counter, had any idea they were standing inside something that was about to vanish so completely that one day their own children wouldn't believe it had ever been real. This is the story of Blockbuster. It began the way a lot of American empires begin. One guy, one good idea, a little bit of luck. The guy was David Cook, Dallas, Texas, 1985. He wasn't a movie man. He ran software for the oil business. And when oil went bad, he went looking for something new. What he found was a mess. Video rental in the early 80s was a grubby little corner of the economy. Cramped shops, ugly carpet, a curtain in the back you pretended not to notice. Cook looked at all that and saw something nobody else did. He saw a system. He built a store that was bright and clean and family-friendly, and behind it, a computer that tracked every single tape. He knew what his neighborhood was renting before his neighborhood knew. That was the secret weapon, not the movies, the data. The first store opened in Dallas in 1985, and then a man named Wayne Huizenga noticed. Huizenga had already built one fortune hauling away America's garbage. He looked at Blockbuster and saw the same thing he saw in trash. Something boring, something everywhere, something you could roll up into an empire. So he did. At the peak, Blockbuster was opening a new store roughly every 24 hours, one a day, for years. By the mid-2000s, there were more than 9,000 stores, 84,000 employees, a Blockbuster within a short drive of most American households. It was, for a while, simply where the country went on the weekend. But forget the numbers. You don't remember the numbers. You remember the wall, the new release wall. 2, 3 copies deep, every movie everyone was talking about, and the small heartbreak of finding the empty case sitting there, but the shelf behind it bare. All out. Come Back Tuesday. You remember the smell of the place, the popcorn and the candy stacked by the register, engineered to catch you on the way out. The little card in your wallet with the number that meant you belonged. Be kind. Rewind. And the staff knew things. The kid behind the counter had seen everything on that wall. And if you asked, if you really asked, he'd lean in and point you towards something you never would have picked yourself. That was the algorithm back then. A teenager with an opinion. You didn't go to Blockbuster to get a movie. You went to wander, to pick something up, read the back, put it down again. The choosing was the night. But there was a crack in the foundation, and it was hiding inside the one thing that made Blockbuster the most money, the late fee. Everybody had a late fee story. You forgot to return it. You meant to. The tape sat on top of the TV for a week, judging you, and then you walked back in, sheepish, and handed over a few extra dollars for the privilege of having forgotten. Here's what almost nobody knew. Those few dollars were not a side business. By some accounts, late fees brought in around $800 million in a single year. A staggering share of the company's revenue came not from renting people movies, but from people failing to bring them back on time. Sit with that. The most profitable thing Blockbuster sold was a punishment. Its healthiest stream of money depended on its own customers feeling guilty. A company can live like that for a long time. It can live like that right up until the moment someone offers people the exact same movies with the guilt removed. Blockbuster had built its house on the single feeling its customers hated most.
There's a better way to rent movies. As many as you want for just $20 a month, and no late fees.
Out in California, two men noticed, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, 1997. The story Netflix likes to tell is that it all started with a $40 late fee on a copy of Apollo 13. Hastings, embarrassed, wondering why renting a movie had to work this way at all. Whether or not it happened exactly like that, the idea behind it was the same. What if there were no store? What if the movie just came to your mailbox? And what if, here's the part that mattered, there were no late fee, ever. It was small at first, easy to ignore, a little red envelope against a 9,000 store empire. And then, in the year 2000, Hastings and Randolph got on a plane to Dallas. They walked into Blockbuster headquarters and offered to sell the whole thing, all of Netflix, for $50 million. $50 million. To a company that size, it was a rounding error, a number you'd find under a couch cushion. They were, by the Netflix team's own account, all but laughed out of the room. That meeting is the hinge of this entire story, because the people in that room weren't fools. They were winning. They were running the most dominant video chain on Earth, and a couple of guys with a website and a stack of envelopes were asking them to take it seriously. Of course they laughed. Why wouldn't they? Friday night was forever. Here's the part people forget. It wasn't too late. For years after that meeting, it still wasn't too late. Because Blockbuster did, eventually, wake up. A CEO named John Antioco saw exactly what was coming, and he fought it. In 2004, Blockbuster launched its own movies by mail service. In 2005, it did the unthinkable. It killed the late fee. No more late fees. The very thing that printed money, gone, because Antioco understood it had become poison. Then came the masterstroke. Total access. Rent online, return it in the store. Take the one thing Netflix could never have, 9,000 physical locations, and turn it into a weapon. And it worked. Subscribers poured in. For one brief, bright window, Blockbuster wasn't chasing Netflix. It was beating it. And then Blockbuster did the most human thing a dying giant can do. It flinched. Killing the late fee and building all of that online had cost a fortune, and the spreadsheet looked ugly. An investor named Carl Icahn went to war with Antioco over money and direction. The boardroom turned on itself. Antioco was pushed out in 2007, and the man who replaced him looked at the expensive, working, future-saving plan and pulled back on it to protect the quarter. They had finally built the lifeboat, and then they climbed back out of it to save the cost of the rope. After that, the ending almost writes itself. Netflix stopped mailing the future and started streaming it. No envelope, no drive, no store, just a button. And the thing Blockbuster had spent 25 years building, the buildings, the shelves, the parking lots, the 84,000 people, became the heaviest anchor in the world. The losses came, then the debt. Then, in September of 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy, carrying close to $1 billion it could not pay. The stores went first in waves, then in floods. The satellite company that bought the bones tried to keep a few hundred of them alive, and then let those go too. One by one, the blue and yellow signs came down. Think about who took them down. Not executives. The closing crews were the same people who'd worked the counter. Students, parents working a second job, the manager who'd been there since he was 16. They boxed up the new release wall. They peeled the posters off the glass. They turned a key in a door that nobody would ever unlock again. And somewhere in all of that, quietly, with no ceremony at all, the last Friday night ended. Nobody marked it. Nobody could even tell you the date. It just stopped being something people did. There is still one Blockbuster left. One in Bend, Oregon. People fly in to see it now, the way you'd visit a grave or a museum. They take pictures under the sign. They buy a souvenir shirt. They walk the aisles, not to rent anything, but to stand for a minute inside a feeling they didn't know they'd miss. Because that's the thing this was always about. It was never really about a company. Blockbuster wasn't killed by Netflix, not exactly. It was killed by something it had baked in from the very first store. A business whose best product was a fee its own customers resented, run by people who simply could not picture a Friday night that didn't look like the Friday nights they already owned. Every single decision they made was reasonable. Defend the stores, protect the profit, calm the investors, and every reasonable decision quietly armed the next one. That is not bad luck. That is a pattern. You can find it in every empire that was too busy winning to look down at the crack in the floor. The little company they laughed at is worth hundreds of billions of dollars now. It's how much of the world watches almost everything. And the giant that owned the weekend fits, today, inside a single store in Oregon and a drawer of other people's memories. But here's what stays with you. It isn't the bankruptcy. It isn't Econ or the boardroom or the $50 million mistake. It's the drive, the minivan turning into the lot, the slide of the doors, the wall of cases you'd read 100 times, the argument over comedy or horror, the teenager in the blue polo, the little card in your wallet that said you belonged somewhere. It mattered. For a little while, on Friday nights, all across the country, it really did matter. And then the lights went out, one store at a time, and we drove home. And we never noticed that the last time was the last time.